Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Truck Rewind, we are looking back at Friday's second annual Strat 200, 134 laps, 201 miles, around the 1.5 mile Las Vegas Motor Speedway in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not a lot happening in this race. We only had 3 caution flags for a total of 15 laps, and of course 2 of those were the stage breaks. So only 1 caution for an incident that came very early in the race, lap 7. The 2 of Sheldon Creed spun off of turn 4, and then in the ensuing trucks trying to avoid, the 04 of Corey Roper runs into the back of Matt Crafton, and then Ross Chastain got a piece of the action as well. That's the only caution for an incident in this race. Lap 30, Stage 1 concludes. Kyle Busch is your Stage 1 winner. Stage 2 concluded at lap 60. Kyle Busch is your Stage 2 winner. I literally could just copy and paste that audio file a couple of times here. I could. I didn't. And you can probably tell that. I'm sure you can tell I didn't do that. But I could do that if I wanted to. 7 lead changes in this race among 6 drivers. Kyle Busch led the most laps in this race. 110 of the 34 laps. There are only 24 laps he didn't lead in this race. And 20 of those were led by Stewart Friesen. 2 laps were led by Grant Enfinger. And 1 lap apiece went to Ross Chastain and Ben Rhodes. Alright, well, Kyle Busch won both stages, led the most laps. This sounds like a repeat of last week in Atlanta, where he won the race. Well, he also won this race. 53rd career Truck Series victory for Kyle Busch in that number 51 Cessna Toyota. Absolutely dominated this race, as he did last week in Atlanta, and as he does most of the time when he comes down into a truck race. I heard it said at some point yesterday that the turning point of that race was when the entry list was released on Monday, and Kyle Busch's name was on it. Brett Moffitt came home in the second position. He had probably the strongest truck in the field outside of Kyle Busch and gave Busch a really good run there at the end of the race. Got all the way to his bumper, and then the dirty air kind of messed him up, and that was the end of Brett Moffitt's chances at a win in this race. Matt Crafton also had a very fast truck. He came home in third, even with that damage to the rear bumper after that lap 7 incident. Stewart Friesen in fourth, and Harrison Burton rounded out the top 5. Rest of your top 10, Sheldon Creed, Todd Gilliland, Johnny Sauter. Ryan Reed in the 17 truck this week for DGR Crosley. Good to see him back in a ride and being competitive. It was really good to see Ryan Reed running up front most of the day. Ross Chastain rounded out the top 10 for another top 10 run in that 45 truck. 11th through 20th, Grant Enfinger rebounded to an 11th place finish after qualifying in 4th, but then dropping to the rear due to an engine change, so he had to fight his way back all throughout the day. 11th was where Grant Enfinger would land. Natalie Decker, her best finish of the season after some really bad luck in Daytona and Atlanta. It wasn't a great run, but I think it was that little bit of a confidence boost that I think she needs going forward. She was in the top 20 most of the day, so it was a respectable run. Wasn't a great run, like I said, but it was a good run. And I think that is the kind of run she needs to be able to have the confidence to run well going forward and continue to improve on that. Angela Ruck, the other female in the race, driving that 8 truck for Nemco, comes home in 16th. Tyler Dipple, 17th. Anthony Alfredo in the 3rd DGR Crosley truck this week. He was driving the 15 truck, came home in 18th. 21st through 30th, Gus Dean off all day in that 12 truck for Young's Motorsports. 22nd on the day for Gus Dean. Corey Roper, probably the heartbreak story of the day, had such a fast truck, qualified 5th, and then just got caught up in an incident that was not of his own doing there on lap 7 and had so much damage that just ruined his day. So he was out barely before he even started. He got 7 laps into the race, and that was it for the 04 of Corey Roper. So move on, and we'll see what Corey Roper can do going forward. I have high hopes for Corey Roper now. He has shown some some really good speed so far this season. Just a lot of bad luck here early on. Ben Rhodes landed in 25th, had some issues late. Did have a fast truck, though. 10th in the first stage, 5th in the second stage. Spencer Boyd, 29th. Austin Hill down here in 30th. He had some engine issues late. Did have a fast truck, though, as he usually does with that Hattori Racing 16 truck. 3rd in the first stage and 8th in the second stage. And then final page, 31st, 32nd, Stephen Parsons in 31st, the son of Phil Parsons, former driver and now NASCAR on Fox analyst. And 32nd shotgun on the field was Scott Stenzel. All right, that's your results from the Strat 200. So let's head over to the Media Center. We'll see what Kyle and your other top finishers on the day had to say after this one.
Where do you think number 200 will come from? Is there a track that's more important to you to get that win at?
No, I wouldn't say. I look at what venue to score that number. Just whenever it happens, it happens. I'm not going to put a name on it, so then it doesn't put any pressure on the situation or anything like that. But just being able to go out there and perform and execute and do a good job. Run, Brett. Thanks, man. Yeah, you too, buddy. So, that's kind of how I look at it, and just trying to do what we need to do. We won here tonight. We had a great truck. Rudy and the guys worked really hard in practice to get it way better, and we kept working on it through the race. So we got to do the same thing tomorrow with our Xfinity car. For as evil as that thing feels, it's got speed, it's fast, but we'll see what happens.
And we'll take a look at the playoff grid real quick here before wrapping up today. 3 races in. Austin Hill still the only driver locked in with a win, as Kyle Busch has won the last 2 races now. Grant Enfinger and Harrison Burton, though, building up a little bit of a points cushion here. Not a lot. You can't build up a huge points cushion this early in the season, but they are starting to gap themselves just a little bit. It is a 8-point gap here from Stuart Friesen in 4th to Harrison Burton in 3rd, and then another 6 points up to Grant Enfinger there in 2nd. So Grant Enfinger, we already know he has shown us that he is the model of consistency. It's not necessarily what he wants to be. It's good to be consistent, but you want to win races too. I think we'll see more Grant Enfinger wins this season, and I'm sure we'll see some Harrison Burton wins. He's been knocking on the door there. It's hard to beat the boss man, Kyle Busch, but Kyle has three truck races left now, and Harrison's got the whole season. So I think we see multiple wins out of Harrison Burton. We may even see multiple wins out of Grant Enfinger before the season is out. But right now, they are building themselves a really good points gap in case they don't pick up some wins here before the playoffs. But that's your playoff grid following the Strat 200, and I believe that'll do it for this Truck Rewind. We had a K&N Rewind go up a little bit ago for the race they had on the dirt track to kick off the season at Las Vegas Motor Speedway that Haley Deegan picked up the win for there. So you can go back and check that out. Xfinity Rewind either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when and if we can get a winner interview set up for that. And then, of course, Cup Rewind Sunday evening to talk about the Pennzoil 400. And then, as always, Pole Position premieres Monday evening at 8 p.m. to quickly recap you on everything that happened this weekend. But I think that'll do it. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. And while you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video? It's much appreciated when you do, and it helps us out so much when you do that. It really does. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series Rewind Show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.